Welcome to the Sports on Tap NEO High School Football Show. Be sure to join the conversation by liking us on Facebook and following us on Twitter at SOT Podcast. Use the hashtag SOTHSF. Here are your hosts, Rob Troutman, Josh Jeffy, Ed Dick, and Sean Duffy.
Welcome to Sports on Tap. It's our final high school football show of the year, folks. I am Sean Duffy with Rob Troutman, Josh Jeffy. Ed Dick is on assignment, but he'll be calling in on the phone. We are here to talk about the state semifinals featuring all the final four teams in each division. Rob, take it away.
Nice job.
Yeah, I know, right?
Sean Duffy getting it done.
Well, you two were fighting like
we were not fighting. We have to make sure the show goes on without a hitch, and sometimes we take care of the hitches beforehand.
I just don't like when mom and dad fight. That's all.
Well, you know what? Do your job, and then we won't.
Whoa!
Hey,
last time I checked, board's on your side of the table, homeboy.
Hey, it was fine. I was ready to go.
You were ready to go.
Well, you know, we're going to cover different divisions. That's right.
We're going to cover all
I know.
of them.
I heard the show last week.
Did you?
I did. And
there
were some good part-timer jokes in there.
Did you catch the Buckeye recap?
No, I missed that.
Yep.
Can you redo it?
I'm not. I don't want it to come across.
That's okay. It'll happen weekly.
Yeah, I just want to say you guys did a great job, though. I mean, going division by division, breaking it down. Ed, Dick did his specialty and
Number
go through.
cruncher.
Oh man, it was sensational. Nice work last week, picking up the slack. But you're right. We're going to go through all the divisions,
7 state final matchups.
Yeah, and I mean, congratulations all the team that won, and congratulations to the teams that have lost because they had great seasons as well. But we'll first start in Division 1, where the men are Cardinals, folks. They took on Olentangy Liberty.
Yep.
And, Josh, how did that game go?
Well, this game went how you would expect a state semifinal game to go. And, this one was a very hard fought battle between two very good teams. Mentor came out on a 27-21 victory. Mentor will travel to Canton this week and play for a chance to win its first ever state title, which is a pretty big deal and actually kind of surprising if you think about it that's their first opportunity for a state title. But looking at this game, Olentangy Liberty got off to a start early with a 80-yard touchdown drive at the beginning of the first quarter. The extra point, however, was blocked. Then Mentor on their second possession took actually a 7-6 lead. Matt Hartman's 23-yard touchdown pass from senior quarterback Tadas Tanarunas gave the Cardinals a 7-6 lead, and that's how it would stay the whole first half in this game. In the second half, Mentor then extended their lead to 14-6 on the opening possession by a 1-yard touchdown run by senior running back Chris Edmond. That was a good drive for them. They marched down Tadas Tanarunas with a couple big plays, passing plays in that drive to really make the Cardinals go down, obviously into the red zone, into the 1-yard line, and then they went on to score the touchdown there to make it 14-6. Then on the kickoff, 70-yard kickoff return by freshman for Liberty, Aiden Kenley, gave the Liberty outstanding field position in this game, and then they were able to score on a 23-yard touchdown catch from junior quarterback Mitchell Oakley. Senior running back Johnny Wiseman went on to catch an extra point attempt that was 2-point conversion that actually tied the game at 14. The Mentor went on, we're used to Mentor during the regular season putting up points, but during this playoff run, they have been monotonous or machine-like, I should say, on their offensive possessions. They once again slowly marched down the field. They scored again Tatarunas ended the drive with a 3-yard run, gave the Cardinals a 21-14 lead with 3:24 left in the third quarter. Tatarunas connected again later on with senior receiver Logan Shea for a 25-yard pass to put the Cardinals in the red zone again. Then on their next possession, excuse me, I misplaced my notes here. There we go. On the next possession, the Cardinals came down, scored a touchdown, made it 27-14. That was Tatarunas again on the quarterback keeper, 27-14. Then Liberty would not go away with 3:06 left in regulation. Wiseman once again had a touchdown, a 17-yard pass from Oakley this time, 17-yard pass to Oakley, and that made the score 27-21. And on that note, Menor was able to hold on in this one, and they came away with a 27-21 victory. Tatarunas finished the game throwing for 251 yards, 22 of 32 passing. He also rushed for 78 yards on 20 carries. He was the leading offensive producer for the Cardinals. And again, they will go on to try to win their first ever state title. And now we go to the hotline, and we are on the phone with our very own Ed Dick, who we all know has a lot of experience dealing with the Menor Cardinals. And Ed, they came out and played a really strong, hard-nosed game and came away with a victory. Your thoughts?
Talk high school football on Monday night, as we've been doing for the last 14, 15 weeks. Josh, as you said, Mentor, we've seen them over the course of the regular season really accentuate their offense. They obviously put up 62 on Brunswick, 61 on Euclid, and put up some very gaudy numbers. In the playoffs, they've, outside of an offensive explosion against Stowe, which we were used to seeing in the very first round, they've really tailored their style of play toward what we can all consider playoff football. Defense wins, and your offense does just enough to get them over the hump. And unlike years past, when we've seen this team not perform as well in the playoffs when faced with a defensive battle, they've completely kind of adjusted the way they do things, and they're keeping the ball a little bit more, giving their defense a little bit more of a rest, and keeping them fresh. So they're not on the field all the time, as evidenced by these long drives that they're putting together, and then they're cashing in. I mean, you put together the longest drives, but if you're not scoring touchdowns or even field goals, it's almost deflating to the defense that the offense put all that work in, and they're not able to get a touchdown. But so credit to Mentor, they've really taken on the challenge of playing playoff football, and especially in this region where they faced two of the top parochial schools in the state in consecutive weeks. A very, very good Stowe Monroe Falls in week 1, and obviously Olentangy Liberty coming out of Region 2. Enough about credit to Mentor and Coach Trevisano and quarterback Tatarunas for really and his group and that defense for just the way they need to play football for them to win games the way they feel they need to do it.
Yeah, they will actually move on to play another Pickerington school. This time they will play Pickerington Central for the Division I state championship. That game will be played at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, and that'll be actually Friday at 8 o'clock, the nightcap. So that's going to be a very interesting game. Ed, your thoughts on the state Division I state championship game?
I'm excited. I mean, we talked about this last week a little bit. This was a role reversal as far as the public and parochial schools are concerned. We had 4 public schools that made it to the Final Four this year, so you're guaranteed a public school champion. So, you have kids from the same area in which they grew up in that are going to be playing against each other in this championship game. Pickerington High School Central is a very, very solid team. They ranked number 8 in Division I according to the AP. Mentor is ranked number 6 in the AP. at the end of the regular season. They beat a very, very good Coleraine team, and Coleraine had to go through their own battles, against Moeller and St. Xavier. So they have a lot of similarities here, where both teams that are in the state championships, had to go through teams that had to go through the parochial schools. Pickerington Central specifically went to Northmont, Hilliard Bradley, and Pickerington High School North. And they were able to put up 41 points on Coleraine in the state semifinal, in their state semifinal matchup. So we know that Pickerington can score. We obviously know that Mentor can score. We'll just have to see if Mentor decides that they want to try to do this as a track meet and just say, you know what, Tatarunas, carry, throw as many touchdowns as you need to and carry us for the win, or if they're going to try to slow it down a little bit, use that running attack with Chris Edmond and Eli McDougall. Are they going to try to use them a little bit more to keep the defense off the field and really control the clock? So I'm real interested in seeing how Coach Trevisano is going to approach this game, knowing that this team that they're playing against can put up a lot of points.
Yeah, when you look at Pickerington Central, they gave up 28 points to Coleraine, who was 11-2 on the season, but they scored 41, so they can definitely put up some points. The Mentor defense seemed like they've been getting better and better. They've obviously, when you play a team like Ignatius, and they've gone through Euclid and played some really tough teams on the year. They've put up some big time points as well. So defensively, what do you think these teams need to do? Because the offenses are really tough. Do you key on with Pickerington Central? They put up 41 points and have been putting up a lot of points in every game. How does Mentor stop a team like that?
Mentor's they need to just take the same approach that they've done when they're playing the Ignatiuses and the Eds. They have a lot of matchups that they can win individually. Their strength, they have a very, very good defensive line. They've always had a good defensive line. I mean, they have huge ends, bookends on the outside, and they have very, very good tackles that could clog up a lot of running lanes to make it tough on them. And they're also able to pass rush. So it's going to be, I think the defensive line is going to be the main key for Mentor here against Pickerington Central. If they're able to get that pressure and clog up the running lanes, it's going to make things a little bit easier on those linebackers and in the defensive backfield to be able to contain Central. Central, as you said, Rob, they've put up 41, 42, 31, and 41 points in their playoff contest in Region 3 and the state semifinals. So, Mentor knows what they're going to be going against. They'll have ample time to break down the film. But I don't think they're going to see anything they haven't already seen, especially having to play the road they've gone through and the conference that they play in. I mean, the Greater Cleveland Conference is one of the toughest public school conferences in the state, and that you can say that they cannibalize themselves because only two teams made the playoffs out of that conference, and they both are representing themselves quite well. Both the Leafs winning one game in the playoffs, and with Mentor now going to the state finals. I think offensively for Mentor, stay diversified. You have two really good running backs. We always talk. I mean, we haven't talked about the Browns too much this year, but we found that their quarterback does pretty well when they have a good running game. Tatarunas has been doing it pretty well for 3 years, but this year he's got a better running game than he's ever had. So I'm looking for Coach Triv to keep it balanced. But if he sees a matchup that Tatarunas can consistently exploit, you'll see Tatarunas do that, and then they'll use the running game as a complement to that. But I think it's going to depend on what they see in the matchups when they're breaking that film down as to how they're going to approach it.
That's absolutely great stuff. I mean, way to break that down, and you broke that game down perfectly, and it's going to be fun to watch and see what happens as Mentor tries to win a championship. I'm on record. I'm not very fond of them, but I'm also not very fond of Ignatius, and I'm glad that I'm glad that a team that obviously handled us pretty well, but also represents our conference and represents the public school systems has a very legitimate shot at winning their first school football championship. They've had 3 other tries at it in 06, 07, and 13. So hopefully the fourth time will be the charm for the Metro Cardinals.
And Ed, moving on to Division II, I know real quick we'll let you go after your thoughts But, on the conferences that we cover, we actually were following Avon, and they actually did not have a very good game against Akron Archbishop Hoban with a 30-6 loss. We'll talk that a little bit more in depth, but just real quickly, your thoughts on that game as we look towards it or at it.
So Hoban is the number 5 team in Division II as ranked by the AP. They're going to take on Cincinnati Winton Woods. They are the number 2 team in Division II, according to the AP. Winton Woods had a 56-21 victory over Massillon, Washington in the state semifinals. Everyone knows them as the Massillon, and they handled them pretty well. Winton Woods has a very, very tough triple option, really run-based attack. They come at you downhill very quickly. I think, as I mentioned before, when I was following Coach Hunick in his state championship run back in 2009, they ran against Winton Woods in the championship game, and they are a physically imposing team. They will beat you up, and they can run faster than you. So it's going to be so you're going to have that offense that is a ball control and ball controlled, very physical, but they can definitely hit with a quick strike against a seasoned, very, very playoff seasoned Akron Archbishop Hoban team that dismantled a very, very good Avon team coached by Dave Elder. Hoban is fantastic. They're the 2-time defending Division III state champions. Due to competitive balance, they moved up to Division II, and they have not lost a beat. They've run through the last 2 weeks 2 undefeated squads, a 13-0 Avon team and a 12-0 Barberton team en route to this state championship matchup. Hoban is very balanced offensively as well. They don't seem to be, it's kind of the same thing with Winton Woods. They don't seem to ever really rebuild. They always reload, and it's no different this year. They graduated some really, really good talent in Danny Clark and Todd Sibley in past years, but the current team has picked up right where they left off, and it's going to be a fantastic game. I'm looking forward to seeing here, can Winton Woods continue pounding the ball and can hit those big plays against Hoban. The moment won't be too big for either one of these teams. Both teams are very experienced in the state finals games. Winton Woods is the defense. They did win the 2009 state championship, so that team is familiar with playoff success, and we obviously know what the success is as Hoban. So, balanced attack by Hoban. We'll see if they can compete with the quick strike, the heavy running, the run heavy, somewhat quick strike offense of the Winton Woods Warriors from Cincinnati.
All right, Ed, good stuff, man. We appreciate you taking some time in to give us a call, and as usual, we miss you. We're not a full team.
No,
we're not the full full team without you, but we appreciate you calling in. And on good job the whole season on crunching the numbers, and we look forward to you doing the same when we start up hockey coverage here in a couple weeks.
Hey, always a pleasure, guys, and continue on. I know we got some we got the other games we'll discuss later in the show, but it's always good when we still have teams in our conferences that are still playing at this time of year. And Avon is the last one from the Southwestern Conference that got eliminated, and now we have the Greater Cleveland Conference left. So we'll see what Mentor can do, and hopefully one of our teams can come away with a state championship. It'd be definitely good on us for following a very successful conferences when we do our coverage. So great job this year, guys, and have a great rest of the show. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Thanks, Ed.
Ed.
Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, great stuff from Ed. Like you said, he's always crunching the numbers, and his insight and the way he breaks down games are second to none. So great job out of him with that. But we'll go through the Archbishop Hoban Avon game, and Archbishop Hoban won this game 30-6. But it's interesting when you look at the score. It's not an indication of how this game was played, because when you look at Archbishop Hoban, they have some really impressive players. And a guy by the name you're going to hear is Hauser, and he's a Navy commit at receiver. He plays some different positions. He made some game-changing plays in the first half. One, an interception that prevented Avon from scoring, and another that ensured a Hoban touchdown. This score was 10-6 at halftime. And you look at Archbishop Hoban, they're a team that kind of does a lot of different things. Well, in the first half, they mostly ran the ball. And Avon in this game, as you look at some of the statistics, they outscored the Knights 148-69 in the first half. And the Eagles seem to be in control of most of the game other than of when Hauser made some big plays for him. So, like you said, he made some huge plays that really, I thought, made Avon stumble in this game. And Coach Mike Elder, after this game, said when he looked at Archbishop Hoban that they just had a lot of big guys up front that were, about 280 pounds up front that just were wearing the Avon team down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's no question that the secret to any football game is who wins the line of scrimmage. And, with that kind of a differential, Avon had some big guys all year. We commented that. They outsized a lot of the teams they played this year, but, they came into a situation where Hoban had, maybe some more beef up front and was able to control the line of scrimmage. When you do that, you're able to run the ball. You're able to control the pace of the game, and you also put yourself in a position to capitalize on, takeaways. And that was the big thing in this game. There was an interception by Hauser that really stopped Avon from scoring. And then there was another play he made that ensured, a touchdown for them. So, yeah, I mean, this is the opportunity. This is the stage where your players step up. And Hauser's been doing it all year. Maybe a little underrated compared to the other players they have on Hoban, but you really look at how Hoban played this game versus how Avon played this game, and it all came down to one thing. Who could control the line of scrimmage, who could execute their game plan well enough to score points, and who could take advantage or not make any mistakes. And Avon made crucial mistakes down at the end and suffered, for the first time of being a little bit undersized in a matchup. And when you put those two things together, it doesn't spell a lot of success. And a lot of things have to go your way. You can't be the team that turns the ball over. It's so important in any playoff game to not create mistakes and that you have to overcome. You're already going to have to overcome enough because players and teams are going to make plays. It's what they've done all year. You have to be able to overcome that. But if you put yourself in a position to where you're now giving them opportunities, you're creating your own adversity that you have to overcome, you put yourself behind the eight ball, and it's tough to come back from that. Avon, I mean, let's get real here. Avon's had a great season. I mean, 13 wins is nothing to shake a stick at. They had a great year. The problem was they ran into a team like Hoban, who's been there, who's been a little bit at this depth in the playoffs before, whether it be Division III, Division II, doesn't really matter because it's all the same type of stage at this point in the season. And, Hoban was able to rely on that, experience and pull out and gut out a tough win. Taking nothing away from Avon. Avon came to play. Like you said, they outdrove Hoban in the first half. They were, winning the yardage battle, but again, it didn't translate to points. It's one thing if you outrush a team by 200 yards or 300 yards and you don't have any points to show for it, all you did was run between the 20s a lot. You got to get it in the end zone. You got to score. This is the name of the game of football is points, getting points, whether it's a field goal, whether it's a touchdown. If you don't score enough points, you're not going to win the game. It's simple mathematics. So Hoban was able to capitalize on some mistakes, take advantage of it, and they were also able to execute their game plan very well in the second half to pull away and make this game a lot more of an unbalanced, a lot more of a blowout game than I think it's really worth. I mean, on paper it looks like a blowout, but from everything we've read, everything we've watched, it was very much a back and forth battle until some plays.
The
were
second half was a little bit of a different story,
yeah.
but you look at the big play and Garrett Hauser, stopped one of Avon's drives. I mean, Avon had a few solid drives, a 15-play opening drive that went inside the 20-yard line, but you look at, they had some solid drives. Hoban was able to stop them and force a turnover. But Hoban attempted just one pass in the first half and did not complete another pass until 3:30 left in that third quarter. So they didn't even have to throw the ball. But they dominated, like you said, at the line of scrimmage. Yep. It was Garrett Hauser. He only finished with one reception for 7 yards, and he had an 8-yard run on a lateral play. But again, looking at the Knights, they stuck to the ground game most of the time in this game, and a lot of it, give credit to Archbishop Hoban. I mean, in the second half, it was a different story.
Yep.
Shane Ham had an 18-yard run for them in Hoban in the third quarter. Then DeMonte Trayanum had a 16-yard run in the third quarter, and he had a 22-yard run in that fourth quarter. So surprising, because Archbishop Hoban, I've always known them to be able to pass the ball pretty well. In this game, they had all run game and dominated the line of scrimmage, and the second half was the difference, as Avon did have the lead in the first quarter when Ryan Malloy scored a touchdown, but the kick was blocked, so it was 6-3. And then in the second quarter is when Hoban really took over, and then from the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, again, going back to the line of scrimmage thing, what it benefits a team that can run the ball and can do that is that eventually it wears a defense down. If they know what's coming but you can't stop it, it's demoralizing from a standpoint. You can scheme and things like that, but if they're able to get first downs and continue drives and put points on the board, they don't need to throw the ball. They don't need the quick strike. They can consistently and monotonously move down move the ball down the field, and that is disheartening to a defensive unit that's looking for a spark. A lot of times it's an interception. A lot of times it's a big sack. It's something like that. It's forcing a punt. But if you're turning and handing and you're getting 4 or 5 yards of carry, and all you're doing is now instead of first and second and 8, it's now second and 3, and they get another 5-yard run. That's what Hoban did here. They have the ability to throw the ball all over the field, but they didn't need that in this particular game, or at least that wasn't the game plan. They just ran the ball, and it may not be the sexiest thing in the world to just turn in hand, but at the end of the game, when you look up in the scoreboard and you see, okay, they only got 6 points, we put up 38 or 36. That it worked, and that's the idea. You go with what's worked all year. They've running the ball very well. Congratulations to Hoban. I think the Winton Woods matchup, as Ed said, this is a more fair matchup, I think, between two teams that are pretty good on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, they tend to give up some points. They tend to get into a shootout every now and then, but they both have really good defenses. So I'm looking for this to actually be a low-scoring state final here, and this game is actually on Thursday night at 7:30, November 30th. This is the primetime Thursday night game. So Hoban versus Winton Woods Thursday night at 7:30 for the Division II state title at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. So this could be a really interesting game because it's kind of a short week for them. They're out of their comfort zone. Both teams are out of their comfort zone. Now, they've been out of their comfort zone a little bit for playoffs, but again, now you're going on a Thursday night. Now there's not as much time. You're kicking over some routines, and one thing football players will tell you is that, we got the early game, we got the early kick. We want to make sure we're doing whatever we need to do prior to game time to get this going. We need to treat this like a Friday night, not like a Thursday afternoon or a Thursday evening, which is when a lot of teams do their walkthroughs, and a lot of teams do that. So, which team can handle that is going to be a big, I think, one of the storylines. Another storyline you want to look at, Can Hoban maybe recreate this game plan against a team like Winton Woods, and do they have that size matchup? Are they able to control line of scrimmage? If so, you're going to see a very similar game plan for how they beat Avon to how they can beat Winton Woods. On the flip side, Winton Woods is able to put up points, and they're able to go fast. And I think if the defense of Hoban can stop them early, they have a shot to kind of maybe control the pace. It's all going to come down to whether or not that defense can make their presence known early in the game and set the tone for what the game's going to be like. If you let Winton Woods to get out to an easy 7-0 lead or an easy 14-7 lead, and their first couple drives result in points, whether it be field goal or touchdown, you tend to find yourself in a track meet with a team that maybe is more comfortable in that setting. Hoban all year has been able to put up points, but they've been able to do it methodically. They've been able to continue to tack on, but also controlling the game just like they did against Avon. So it's be interesting to see that game. It'd be fun to watch that particular game.
Well, I think you'll find it. Ed talked a little bit about private and public schools, and Coach Elder of Avon, the head coach, must have had a question about it because at the end of the article on Cleveland.com, he said, I don't want to get into the private-public thing because I'm not an advocate for separating them. But if we're going to win a state championship here one day, I want it to be against the best. And that's what – I don't know how that would come up. Obviously, somebody must have asked him how he felt about, maybe a Catholic
I
private school
one of
in
the
the game. But
questions-
it's kind of interesting that he kind of gave how he felt about that a little bit there. But, again, Hoban won the last two state titles, so now they're going for a third. And, congratulations to them. They figured out a way to really dominate Avon, which Avon hasn't had domination like that in a long time.
No.
And they've scored double digits in every single game dating back to 2008. And I believe it was 113 games scoring in double digits dating back to 2008. And that's unbelievable by Coach Elder. And he's done a great job there at Avon. It was fun following them. Congratulations to all those guys on just an incredible year.
While it's not the ideal ending, it had to feel a little bit better than last year's first round bouncing at the hands of Avon Lake, in the first round at home. So, they made it to the state Final Four. At this point in time, it's the little stuff, it's the details, and unfortunately, the big detail here is that you were outmanned a little bit size wise, and again, not taking nothing away from Avon in their season. Congratulations to Coach Elder, congratulations to the Avon Eagles, to the seniors out there. You guys did a great job, and you got a very, very good season under your belt. You won your conference. You dominated your conference, really.
Yeah. All year.
You were very impressive. You were, the number 3 team in the top 25 and the Cleveland top 25. So it's again nothing to hang your heads about. Congratulations to Hoban. Good luck against Winton Woods. Congratulations to Winton Woods, who did beat up on Massillon. Let's not forget that. Putting 56 points up against a Massillon team is no small feat. So let's move on, Rob, here to Division III. Could you go ahead and list the games that we had for that one?
Yeah, Akron St. Mary made it here to the Final Four as they took on Dresden Tri-Valley. And Dresden Tri-Valley with a 24-6 win. They advance at 13-1 on the year. Akron St. Mary's loosed at 10-3 now, and
St. Vincent
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's.
But a big win for them as they make it to the championship, and they'll take on Trotwood Madison, who defeated Toledo Central Catholic 16-7. Toledo Central Catholic is the number 1 seed, and they beat the 12-0 Bay Rockets in the round prior. So Trotwood Madison defeated Toledo Central Catholic 16-7, as they're the number 1 seed. So they'll be playing Tri-Valley, who's 13-1 there in the championship game. That game at 8 p.m. on December 2nd. That's going to be a really good game. And Madison, they're 14-0 going into this game.
They are the number 1 ranked according to the AP Division III schools. So
wow,
they are definitely the favorites in this game.
Yeah, I played Trotwood Madison in high school. I know this team, and again, I cannot tell you. When I was in high school, Trotwood Madison was not the program they are today. That program has done a complete turnaround. They are a force in whatever division they play in. They've got speed. They're well coached. They execute well. And you know what? The big thing is that if you look at Trotwood's path here, they've been putting up points, but they got into a little bit of a rough game there. They only won 16-7 against Toledo Central Catholic when, the week before they put up 44. The week before that they put up 64. The week before that they put up 48. So, a team that can put up points but also has the grit and determination to win a tough game, and that's exactly what it was. Taking nothing away from Dresden Tri-Valley. Hey, you guys come in as the number 5 seed in your region and make it all the way to the state Final Four and beat a very, very good Akron St. Vincent St. Mary team. That's something to say here. It's a very good team, and I'm actually glad. This actually makes me want to watch that game at 8:00 on Saturday night. Between these two teams, because I'm interested to see is Trotwood able to get off to a fast start, utilize their speed, utilize their ability to throw the ball vertically, but also they're a very, very good defense, and they can get to the quarterback. They have a size advantage. It's a very good program going on there in Trotwood Madison High School. The Rams are a very good, well-coached team. Congratulations to Trotwood Madison.
Year.
It's nice to see a team that I used to play or that I recognize in these brackets, because it's very rare that I get to see them from when I played in high school. So, congratulations, Trotwood Madison, and it'll be a good matchup against Tri-Valley.
Moving on to Division IV. We'll start with the battle between regional champions of Region 15 and Region 16. New Concord John Glenn took on Clarksville Clinton Massey, and Clinton Massey, the number 7 ranked team according to the AP in Division 4, came away with a hard-fought 28-21 victory over New Concord John Glenn. On the other side of the bracket, Region 13 and 14, this was the battle of unbeatens, as number 1 ranked in the state, Steubenville, came away with a 35-22 victory over Shelby. Shelby was ranked 5th in the state according to the AP. So for the state championship in Region 4, or Division 4, Clinton Massey 13-1 will take on Steubenville 14-0. This game will take place on Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m., and of course that is at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton.
Yeah, Steubenville's a team. They're always, it seems like, in the mix. They've always had really good teams. And they faced a lot of good teams. They've put up a lot of points. They faced a really good Perry team right there in the semifinals. They beat them 33-21. They played a good Cardinal Mooney team. And Cardinal Mooney's the one team this year that seemed like they held Steubenville's offense down. Steubenville won that game 19-14. And Cardinal Mooney was only a 7-4 team this year. So might want to look at a little bit of that film and see how you stop a Steubenville offense that keeps putting up a high number of points, too, in these playoffs. But, Clinton Massey is no team to mess around with either. Only 1 loss on the season. They've had a lot of solid wins. They've held a lot of teams down, too. Their defense has been solid a lot this year. Not giving up a ton of points in any of these games for the most part, other than 20 points. So let's see what happens, or 21 points rather, but we'll see what happens. Steubenville, like I said, is a really tough team. They're ranked number 1. I think Clinton Massey's going to have their hands full, but are they going to find a solution for that offense? We'll see. All right, let's move on to we'll go to Division 5 now, and looking at Division 5, Region 19, going up against Region 20 in Division 5, and it was Wheelersburg against Middletown Madison, and it was Wheelersburg, the 3rd ranked in the state, getting the win 15-10. Middletown Madison falls to 11-2. Wheelersburg advances to the championship game as they are 14-0 now on the year. And on the other side of the bracket, it's Region 17 and Region 18. Was Canfield South Range. They came in at 13-0, taking on Pemberville Eastwood. They were the number 1 ranked team, and they were also undefeated. And an impressive win for Pemberville Eastwood if they won 21-7 to move on, and they will face Wheelersburg in the championship. Again, now it's ranked for Eastwood. It's 1 versus number 3 now. And a great win really all around. A lot of good teams. When you get to this point in time, you're going to get a lot of undefeated teams. You might have a surprise here and there, but give credit to where credit is due. Pemberville continues. 2 14-0 teams advance to the championship here.
And in moving on to Region 6, we got a matchup in Region 24 versus Region 22. Maria Stein, Marion Local, ended up winning over Findlay Liberty Benton 31-13 to advance to the state finals. They are the number 1 ranked team according to the AP poll in Division 6. And then on the other side, we have local team Kirtland laying a beat down on Nelsonville York, 44-0. They are the number 2 team in the AP poll for Division 6. Guys, we got number 1 versus number 2 playing an early game. Grab your coffee, 10 a.m. on December 2nd at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. Grab your coffee, grab yourself a little Dunkin' Donuts, go down there and watch a state championship against probably the 2 best teams in the state playing here. And again, a team like Marion Local, they're always there. Kirtland, fantastic year. They've just been cruising through these playoffs, really playing well. So you want to see them do well in the playoffs. So again, obviously we want to do local teams here. So congratulations to Kirtland. Again, Marion Local 14-0 versus 14-0 Kirtland for the Division 6 title. Josh.
On to our final division, Division 7. We also have another local team it's vying for a state championship.
Yeah, buddy.
We're going to look towards the first regional matchup. We had Region 25 against Region 27. Danville, ranked number 3 in the state, took on number 5 in the state, Cuyahoga Heights.
Cuyahoga fights.
Cuyahoga Fights, you're right. Cuyahoga Fights came away with a 38-8 shellacking over the third-ranked in the state, Danville. Cuyahoga Heights will then move on to play Minster, who defeated the number 1 ranked team in the state in Division 7, and that's Norwalk St. Paul. Minster beat them 40-7. Minster now 9-4 on the season, defeated 13-0 Norwalk St. Paul. So this game will take place Friday morning at 10 a.m. So again, get your coffee ready. Dunkin'
Skip
Donuts,
school if you need to.
whatever you need to do. Make sure you go to the concession
We don't
stand and
advocate
support.
that.
I'll advocate it. If you're in Cuyahoga Heights and you're not going to that game on Friday, shame.
Well, see, I work in Cuyahoga Heights, and if that means they want to close the schools so everyone can go down to the game,
Which I'm sure they will.
that's fine because that means there's no buses that I'll have to deal with, and it's all good from there. But
Except
no,
for that big bus that's driving all the way down there.
right. So this game again will be take place this Friday, 10 a.m. at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium.
Well, congratulations to them. I mean, Cuyahoga Heights, they got past Dalton 42-41. I think once you get past, a game like that is just back and forth, I mean, what a job. Ranked number 5. I mean, teams, Cuyahoga Heights 12-1. Minster's 10-4, and they make it. And especially Norwalk St. Paul, was undefeated going into that game at 13-0. And they beat them 40-7. I mean, that's impressive. Cuyahoga Heights, can they put the cherry on top?
I'm
Can
pulling
they?
for him. Cuyahoga fights. Cuyahoga Heights.
It's going to be. I mean, what a great playoff! I thought this year, the playoff system was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Especially I thought it was impressive to see Menor go through St. Ed's, St. Ignatius, and every other team they've been going through right now. You're facing unbelievable teams from week 1, really, in these playoffs.
Well, and I know right now, hindsight being 2020, but if you look at last year for Menor, 6-4, we talked about it last year. That wasn't a normal Menor year, so you were looking for them to have a bounce-back year. And as you can see, they've had probably the bounce-back years of bounce-back years, and I think for them to top it all off for the state championship will be in their illustrious history of playing football at Menor, this is probably the best year that they've ever had. Seeing how the conference that they play in, the competition that they played against to the road to the state championship, and finally, hopefully for them to win it. And all I'll say for Menor, I've been covering the GCC now for 3 years. If you get a state championship ring, holler at your boy. Send a ring my way.
Get out of here. You're so shameless.
I'm just kidding with you.
Seriously, folks, get him a state championship ring because he had everything to do with it.
I'm just saying. I've covered you all year.
You know what? Better yet, send it to Ed.
Hey, do you know what, though? Let's be honest. Josh has not messed up Tatarunas' name all year long. I've heard some people just absolutely...
Yeah, like calling the guy Seamus instead of Seamus.
That was one time. I got it right the rest of the year.
Well, at least you didn't call him Seamus or Seamus in the Buckeye update. So that's good.
We did the Buckeye update already, Josh.
Did we? I missed it.
Yeah. Again, I'm not trying to rub it in on Buckeye. It's just the funny thing that Josh got all freaked out one day because we didn't do.
That's all right.
But, congratulations to all these teams. I think it's going to be an exciting playoffs considering it's at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. Right there in Canton, Akron, right there, by the Hall of Fame Stadium. I think that's exciting. I know it was in Columbus last year, and I mean, let's be honest, that is an absolute huge stadium. The Horseshoe that fits 112,000. I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tom Benson Stadium is a classic stadium. We've been there, we haven't been there. We've been in that area. We went to Massillon, and we kind of went past the Hall of Fame. This is a new stadium. They revamped. They redid it thanks to Tom Benson, who put some money forward for the Hall of Fame. And I think it's great. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to see a lot of teams and a lot of fans show up at these playoffs.
And for all these games will be broadcast not only on live TV with Spectrum Sports, but also live streaming. So you will be able to watch these games, which you're not really, you really can't do during the regular season and the playoffs.
Yeah. Not yet, anyway.
Not until you can see like kind of a delayed portion of the game, but. So this is going to be very fun, and it's especially fun for the players and the coaches and the fans, of course, of these teams. A long road. We started this thing way back in August, and now we are here, the beginning of December.
I'm tired. It's a long run.
Yeah, it was. A lot of work, but a lot of fun.
Football.
Well, I mean, you guys were part-timers, most of it. But,
Well, you know what? After what
Hey,
about
I think what Sean's
3 or
trying
4
to say
years
is
of being full-timers, it's
I
about
know.
time some of the guys stepped up
I know.
this year.
You know what? Hey, I think he
Oh.
wants to edit the show.
Yeah.
I think he wants to put it on social media, and I think he wants to run the board
Yeah,
next time.
I think it's just.
well, I don't want anything to do with that board because it's claimed your life already once, Rob, when you broke a wire.
No, yeah. Well, it was a power.
Yeah.
It was it was for our headsets.
Yeah.
Okay.
But hey,
Friday.
we made it work, and
No, I'm going to say this. I think we all did a great job covering games. It was fun getting out there.
it was fun.
We actually continued our run of picking great games up until probably the end in the playoffs where some games kind of got out of hand. But I don't think throughout the regular season we had a really good job of picking games, really good games to be around. It was fun. I'll never forget Rob getting hit in the head with gloves.
Oh, that was awesome.
yeah,
That was so
that was
funny.
early on in the year too.
One of the
funny.
Actually, that was Westlake and Berea Mid Park. That might have been week 2.
I was in the booth.
I'm like, what a way
I
to
was-
start.
I was in the booth for that game, and Josh texted me and goes, "Rob just got hit with gloves," and I go, "So is he in a duel now, or does he have to? Does he have to fight
Sword
some guy?"
fight.
Yeah, no, but I'm thanks again to all the athletic directors,
Yeah.
coaches, players that did interviews with us. Statisticians that were there. Anybody that was involved helping us get a little bit more light on this great thing we call high school football. So again, look for us now. We're going to transition to the hockey, the favorite, the Canadian sport. We're gonna chase down some puck and see if we can get this thing rolling too.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, very much looking forward to that. We've gotten involved a little bit with the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League.
Still haven't convinced them to shorten the name.
No, in the past with doing the Barron Cup and then doing the All-Star Draft, which we'll definitely be doing that again this year. But this year we're going to be on more games. We're going to be doing most of the concentration of our Monday podcast now are going to be on hockey. So we're hoping to get some new fans, some new hockey fans getting a listen.
Mm-hmm.
And again, follow us on Twitter at SOT Podcast. We are on YouTube. You can check us out there. And check us out on our website, sportsontappodcast.com. We're going to have all kinds of good stuff. And also you can check out with our partners, NEO Sports Insiders, who's also doing a great job already to start
Absolutely.
with hockey coverage. So, excuse me, make sure you look them up as well. Our next show will be December 18th, and that'll be live at Z's Cream and Bean.
Going back, baby.
We're doing it.
Right before the holiday season. We're going to be talking high school hockey, hopefully get some guest coaches, players. We're working on that currently, and it'll be a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. Again, want to thank all the high schools and ADs. If you're a high school out there, you want some good coverage, get in contact with Sports on Tap. We do a heck of a job with our podcast.
Shameless plug.
Oh,
Nah,
God.
yeah, I know. But no, you know what? It's gonna
Partnered with RRT Productions.
yeah. No, but you know what? We're gonna have a lot of fun covering high school hockey. Joe Simon, the director there, Ryan Kelber, also in charge of the league. We talked to them, and what a great job they do with the website.
Yeah.
They're going to have all kinds of media guides out there. So it's going to be a lot of fun covering some hockey. We know it's not number one priority in the Cleveland area, so maybe high school hockey will.
We're going to make it, though.
That's right. And Josh is at their website right now, and they're going to be getting divisions in there. If you want anything with Sports on Tap, we're on their website as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun covering them, getting this season now that is underway.
Yeah. Not a
And,
lot of preseason tournaments.
It's been a fun high school football season.
Yep.
Check out the championships, though. What a
Yeah,
great place to
absolutely.
watch a game at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, right there by the Football Hall of Fame. That's a great stadium that they just redid and everything. So you're going to see cream of the crop out there.
Rise to the top, as Macho
That's
Man
right.
always says.
Ooh, yeah, brother.
Well, hey, we want to thank everyone for listening throughout the year. Again, sportsontappodcast.com if you want to check out some of our articles, videos, podcasts, anything is there. NEOSportsInsiders.com as well.
Twitter,
Twitter,
YouTube,
at
Facebook.
SOT Podcast. That's right. We're everywhere.
Everywhere you find social
Sports
media.
on Tap
we'll be there.
Podcast at gmail.com. If you have questions, you have ideas for our show, let us know.
That's it.
That's it. Any last thoughts, guys? Great job this year.
Great football season.
Yeah.
One of my favorite times of year. I'm kind of sad it's coming to an end, but very much looking forward to hockey.
Don't worry, Josh. I'll let you see my fantasy football belt one of these days.
Yeah, I'll see it
you
when
know
it's
what?
around my
Yeah,
waist.
baby.
I'll see it when it's around my waist.
Sean Duffy, ladies and gentlemen,
Throwing
fantasy
it down,
football.
baby.
Sean Duffy fighting for a playoff spot.
Ooh, big. Landed a big body blow this weekend, baby.
Yeah.
That's okay. I've already clinched the playoff
Oh,
spot,
okay.
So.
So you're resting your players?
Yeah,
Is that what
exactly.
happened? Okay. Okay. Got it. That's how fantasy football works.
This talk will be for
You got-
another show.
You got your
folks.
backups in.
You guys want fantasy football?
Don't talk
Sports
to
on
Sean.
Tap style.
Don't talk to Sean.
All right, guys. Want to congratulate
Reigning
everyone
champion.
for making the playoffs and making it far, having a great year. For Sean Duffy, Josh Jeffy,
Excuse
Ed
me,
Dick, I'm
champion
Rob
Sean
Troutman.
Guy scores 100 points for the first time all year, and he's big
Jeez,
shot.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, folks. Have a great week. We'll see you soon. See ya.